All right, everybody, it is officially time to get started with our free webinar today. Today, we're really going to be focused on those that have previously taken the NCLEX before. But even if you're in nursing school or you've maybe just had a setback before or you're struggling with a mindset for the NCLEX, this is still a very appropriate webinar for you. And so I'm super excited to have you all join us today, but I do want to just begin by acknowledging the dedication and resilience that each of you here has. Failing an exam is hard. It can be disheartening, but I do want you guys to know that just because you failed an exam, it doesn't mean that it's the end of your journey. It is a setback, absolutely, but with determination, with really putting in consistent efforts, you will be ready to give it another shot. And so I just want to say huge kudos to those of you that are here, because really how I want you to view a setback is I want you to view it as a comeback. Because this time around, we're not just going to be studying, we're going to be strategizing. We're not just going to retake the exam, but we're going to make sure that you really reclaim success on this test. So let's go ahead and let's get started. But I do just want to put that out there because I want you to believe in yourself, because it's your self-belief that's going to drive you forward. You know, one of the most important things to me, and something that I really like talking about, is the number of NCLEX attempts that you have does not define you. It doesn't define your capabilities as a nurse. It doesn't define your capabilities to be a client advocate. It does not define you. You do have to pass the NCLEX to be a practicing nurse, but I don't want that weight hanging over you. So let's go ahead and let's get started. And I want to start by asking, where are you joining from? Where are you joining from? And then let me know if you're a first-time test taker or if you're a repeat test taker. Now, what you can do is you can take your mobile device, scan that QR code, and you can join the event, or you can just go to slido.com and type in comebacks. Now, if you're joining on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, and you're like, oh, I can't get the QR code to work, you can just drop it in the comments of where you're joining from. And we've got FKK from Washington. Amazing. Glad to have you here. Who else do we have joining us today? Looks like Slido may not be your guys' thing. Connecticut, we've got Mary from Connecticut, Chauncey from Florida, Aaron from Canada, Aza from Texas. We've got Miami, Houston, Connecticut. Amazing. I'm in South Dakota. It's always super windy here. But we've got Adina from Nigeria, and I'm going to say this name wrong, and I'm just going to apologize. I am so bad at names. Ayurbai from Ghana. Oh, you said Isaac. I missed that part. Isaac from Ghana. Cortia from Florida. Amazing. Glad to have you guys here. I know I'm saying these names so wrong. I'm so sorry. But I think it's amazing doing these, because the coolest thing for me is I'm not just seeing people all over the states, I'm seeing people join together all across the globe for a united front of, hey, this is hard. Maybe we haven't been successful in a test, but we're going to learn from it. We're going to move forward with it. So I'm super glad to have each and every one of you here. Let's go ahead and let's get started. So what are some common reasons for failing, whether we're talking about the NCLEX or whether we are talking about just a test in nursing school in general? So number one is inadequate prep. We have to be consistent in our prep to be successful. Consistency is the key to success here. And so really, I just want to keep that at the front of our mind, is that we need to make sure that we're spending quality time prepping. The second thing, raise your hand or put in the comments, anyone an overthinker here? Anyone struggle with overthinking, maybe spending a lot of time being like, oh my goodness, am I smart enough to pass this test? Am I capable of passing this test? What happens if I don't pass this test? Where does my job offer go? Overthinking is huge. I think as nurses, we're kind of built in overthinkers, because as nurses, we should be able to watch for trends and to watch for different things. And so we do have to be very intentional to make sure that that overthinking is benefiting us, but not taking away from our capabilities and taking away from our value. All right, test anxiety. Anyone struggle with this? Anyone want to raise their hand or put a comment of like, yes, test anxiety. It's gotten me before. Test anxiety was something I significantly struggled with. My biggest difficulties when I was a student were test anxiety, overthinking, and I have a real big problem for perfectionism. I like everything to be perfect, and if something is not perfect, that really bothers me. And so, okay, so anyway, that is something that I kind of look for. And then the other thing is poor study skill. Has anyone ever felt like they have studied several times, but you're like, I'm just not getting there? Anyone ever feel like that? Anyone ever feel like, okay, I'm doing all the right things, but I'm just not getting it? Anyone ever have that feeling? Okay, yeah, some of you are like, yes, I felt that before. What you need to do is maybe study in a different method. And by the way, those joining on TikTok, are you able to still hear and see me okay? I got the weirdest pop-up that I wasn't streaming my own content, and this is Archer's content. So I think it's still working because I said it was our content, but just let me know if it stops working. I've never had that pop up, and I've done this for years, so that was different. Um, so anyway, if you're studying in a way that doesn't work for you, you're not going to get a lot out of it. And so what I really want you to focus on is I want you to focus on, okay, how do I learn? So one way I know I learn really, really well is I learn well from talking through things. It literally is what has led me into my educator career because when I was in nursing school, I used to teach my classmates all the time. I really, really loved it because when I taught my classmates, the benefit that I had was it helps me find my own gaps. I knew what my gaps were. I knew what things I struggled with, and that made it a little bit easier because I knew it when I couldn't explain it. And so that's something that I would just, recommend is talking out loud through a concept because it's going to tell you, okay, yes, this makes sense, or no, this doesn't make sense. All right, next thing, raise your hand or put in a comment. Cramming. Anyone who crams once in a while? Do I have anyone who crams from time to time? I'm sure it's not. I wasn't the only one. All right. A couple of you are like, yes, I have crammed. So what's the issue with cramming? So the problem is we have to be able to apply our knowledge. And so to apply our knowledge, what we have to do is we have to be able to make connections. And what we see is when we've crammed, we're not able to truly make those connections. And the reason for failing looks different for everyone. I don't want you to compare yourself to your friend that tested. I don't want you to compare yourself to your sibling, to your whoever, your classmate, because your journey is your own. Okay. Your journey is your own, and that's okay to have your own journey. So I'm curious to hear from you. Do you guys feel like your previous attempt or attempts, some of this is plural, are weighing you down for your next one? And you don't have to share if you don't want to share. But if you feel comfortable sharing, do you feel like your previous attempts are weighing you down? Now, the reason why I ask this is because what happens is sometimes we have extra doubt added because of what's happened before. And so what I want us to really think about is that previous attempt weighing us down? And how do we take that weight off, right? If I were to go do a hike, I live kind of by the Black Hills. And if I were to go hiking and I had this massive weight I was carrying, it's going to make that a lot harder, right? It's going to be way more challenging for me to be successful compared to if I let go of that weight. I let that weight off of me. And so I really want us to say, hey, we are capable, we are worthy of this, and let go of the weight. And this can be challenging. And so together, what I want us to do is called a mindset reset. So I'm going to look goofy, and it's fine. I do often in my life. So I'm going to look goofy for just a moment. But I want you guys to go ahead and I want you to do this with me. I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to take a really nice, big, deep breath in. So take a deep breath in, hold it, and then exhale. And I really want you to really just be thinking and relaxing through that deep breath of thinking that you are capable, you are worthy, you can do this. So let's do this one more time. In through our nose, hold it, and then out through your mouth. And it sounds weird, but I want you to give yourself that permission that you failed. Obviously, the goal is to pass. We want everyone to pass. We want them to pass their first time, but it doesn't always work that way. And I want you to give yourself that permission to say, hey, that wasn't my journey and it is okay. I didn't get what I was hoping for, but it's okay because I'm going to make sure my next attempt is my last attempt. And it's really important to understand that you are not measured. You are not defined by the number of times that you take your NCLEX. And the reason why I think this is so important to talk about is because you are more than that. Your worth is more than that. And so what I want us to talk about is I want us to do a little bit of a previous attempt analysis. But I want you guys to out loud say to yourself, or you can type it if that's helpful for you. I want you to say, I am capable, I deserve this, and I can be successful. And I think it's really important for us to verbalize that, for us to verbalize that we are capable, we can do this. Despite having setbacks, because we can turn these setbacks into a comeback. You can reach your goal. It just might not look the way you thought it would. So we've talked about this a little bit, but in our analysis of our previous attempt, was test anxiety a big portion of this? Something I do at Archer Review is I meet with students for free 15-minute consults. And with those consults, what I do is when we do them is for a student that has used our program and has been unsuccessful. And what I see majority of the time is test anxiety. This is just like a taboo topic. I feel like we don't talk about it enough. And we don't always give students all of the tools to combat it. And so knowing if you struggle with this is important because you want to take control of your test anxiety now instead of it controlling you. And really what test anxiety is it's going to be a performance stressor and it leads to what is called thought blocking. So in the comments, has anyone ever been going through an exam and you get the feeling like, I don't know anything, your mind has gone blank, or the feeling of, I need to get out of this test? Has anyone ever felt that before? Anyone ever had those? Yeah, several of you are like plenty of times. Absolutely. That is because your test anxiety is too high. Somebody just said, hey, I just failed today. I'm so glad you're on right now because I hope this lecture can speak to you a little bit. When you get to that mindset, it's because you cannot critically think anymore because you're in your fight, flight, or freeze. So if you have ever felt frozen or like you want to flight, like you want to get out of the test, you are in your fight, flight, or freeze. And that means that you can no longer critically think. So because of that, if you can no longer critically think, your chance of being successful on that test goes down significantly. Now, we've talked about some common causes here, but let's talk about this a little bit more. Anyone ever struggle with pressure from others? Anyone ever feel like, oh my goodness, I'm getting pressure from Aunt Karen, right? We're going to use the name Karen. It seems to be the name to use. Aunt Karen, or we have got a job offer that if we don't pass and we're not successful, that job offer goes away. Or maybe it's that my family needs me to pass this test financially so I can provide for what my family needs. Whatever it might be, that pressure from others, it can become suffocating. And I want you guys to take a moment to remember your why. Why are you doing this? I don't want it to be because somebody else is pressuring you to do it. I want your why to shine through because that's what's going to motivate you. And that's what's going to help you feel capable of passing this exam and making you where you want to study and you want to be consistent and grow. The other thing is negative mindset. As human beings, sometimes I think we're wired, at least in today's society, to naturally have a more negative mindset. I want to ask you something. When you get a question wrong, do you say, wow, I cannot believe I just missed that question? Or do you say, hey, I made a mistake, but it's really a learning experience. I'm going to learn from this and make sure I do better the next time because I've given myself this learning opportunity. Which of those two things do you do? Do you allow it to be the learning opportunity or do you automatically become negative with yourself? Do you automatically say, oh, Rachel, I can't believe I missed this one, right? How are you speaking to yourself? Because it matters. That positive mindset matters. And then lastly, a lack of confidence. I have worked with thousands and thousands and thousands of students. And what I see time and time again is those students that have a lack of confidence seem to have much higher anxiety. And so, what we want to do is we want to work to build that confidence to help counteract that test anxiety because you guys are capable of this. You need to showcase your expertise because it's really your opportunity to shine and to be like, watch me do this because I am capable. I do have the intelligence to do this. And I know that each of you has that why, or you wouldn't be here today. You would not have shown up today if you were not capable of passing this test. So I'm curious to ask, and you don't have to answer this if you do not want to, but it'll be anonymous. What causes your test anxiety? What are you like? Yes, this is what leads to it. This is where I struggle. Is it pressure from others? Is it a job offer? Is it, what can it be? And you don't have to share. I want you just to think of it. Someone said the fear of the unknown. Let me tell you, you are talking, or what's that saying? You're preaching to the choir, I think might be the saying. Um, but yeah, absolutely. There's this fear that can happen when we don't know what the future looks like. But we have to trust that this journey is going to happen, even if our journey looks different. Friends, family, the fear of failing. Let me tell you, no one likes the fear of failing. And so, because of that, what happens though is I see the fear of failing actually hold us back from reaching our greatest success. I think of it as like my 6 year old, she was learning to do the monkey bars last year. She was 5, right? And she kept falling down. And she got to a point where she no longer wanted to try the monkey bars anymore, right? And as a parent, it was like, I can totally see why she doesn't want to do the monkey bars. She keeps falling flat on her face. But I also wanted to encourage her let's keep trying. And you know what she can do now this year? She can do the monkey bars, no help, nonstop, and loves it. And so, really, why I tell you this story is because if you get stuck in the fear of failure and you stop trying, you're never going to get there. It's that consistency of continuing to try despite the setback, continuing to try despite the fear of the unknown that's going to get you there. And so you have to keep pushing, you have to keep trying, even when it's hard. Did that story help at all, or was I off in sharing it? It felt like a good one, but I don't know. Because we have to keep showing up, right? We have to keep showing up. And so when we think about test anxiety, I want you to think about prevention because it's not all just on test day. It starts now, it starts today. And what we need to do is we need to be prepared for test anxiety. I am just about to finish up my master's in nursing education. I have been in school a lot of years, and let me tell you, I still have test anxiety. I still have the fear of failure. I still have this perfectionism issue. I always have, I still have it now. The difference is it doesn't control me, I control it. And that's how I want you to think of test anxiety. It's kind of like a friend, an annoying friend, but it can keep you alert. It can keep you motivated, but sometimes it hangs out too long. It's like the friend that doesn't get the cues of, hey, you're no longer wanted, like go away for a little bit. That's test anxiety. And so, what I want us to consider is how do we build our confidence? How do we make sure we adequately study and review? Because I think that that's really important. And some things I want you to do before the exam. Number one is adequate prep. Make sure you are using a well rounded resource. That's why I recommend Archer Review because we have all the things. We're not just a Q bank. We have a 3-day live review. We have Monday through Friday live lectures. We have all of these different things that we do because we want to support you. I want to see each and every one of you reach your goals and be successful. And sometimes when you're failing, it can be a lonely place. In the comments, leave me a comment if you have felt a little bit alone after failing the NCLEX, like you didn't know where to reach, where you didn't know where to find support, where you didn't know where there was a community there for you. At Archer Review, we are that. We want to support you. We want to see you achieve your goals. And sometimes it doesn't happen the way we want it to, but we get there. I have seen students pass on their 17th attempt, on their 18th attempt. I've seen students who have graduated over 20 years ago be successful on their exam. But what did it take? It took someone that believed in them, support, encouragement, and consistency. And when they had that, they were capable of doing this. So seek support. Make sure you have a good support system, whether that's family, classmates, whatever it might be. Make sure you set yourself up for that success and continue to work on positive self-talk. Positive self-talk is huge. I know it doesn't seem as big when you're just thinking about it, but it is huge for our success. We get to decide what our inner monologue is. Are we going to allow that to drive us to success, or are we going to allow that to keep us down? Now, something that we have at Archer is in webinar exclusive. So anyone who's attending, and you're like, hey, this is speaking to me. I think I would have value in, finding this well-rounded prep product. We have a 10% off code. And our 10% off code for all of you joining is I love Archer, all caps. I love Archer. We'll get you 10% off any of our new packages. So any of our packages you have, you can use I Love Archer to save you a little bit of money. Now, using Archer Review successfully, some of the things that I really want to make sure that we talk about is actively using the material. I could sit here all day, right? Let's say I'm just sitting here and I'm like, yep, listening to Morgan's lectures, listening, doing the thing, but I'm not truly ever engaged in the process. You need to be engaged through the process. You want to be showing up and giving it your all every time you're there, right? So add notes in your own words. Make sure that you're talking through concepts out loud. Can you explain the why? And then actively engage with the videos. What are the key takeaways? Can you explain that topic to someone else? If you can't do those things, then guess what? You weren't active through the process. And really make sure you take frequent breaks. Anyone here studying for like 6+ hours in a day? Anyone doing that? It's been a while since I've had a student that's doing that, but sometimes I'll have students tell me, Rachel, I'm studying 7 or 8 or longer hours per day. You will not be successful studying 8 hours a day. You have got to build in breaks for yourself. You have to renew your studying, okay? That is way too long. If I do something straight for 8 hours, I'll go a little crazy, I think, right? Because we have to give our brain a break. We get fatigued when we do that. And when your brain is fatigued, guess what? You're no longer learning at your best. And so we want to make sure that you stay where you are learning at your best. So what are some things that you want to try to improve your study habits this next time? What are some things that you're like, yes, I want to try this. I want to make sure I improve my study habits. One of my best pieces of advice is follow a study plan. Following a study plan can be really, really helpful. Archer Review, we have different study plans. We have a 6 and a 12-week study plan. I really recommend the 12-week study plan for those that are repeat test takers. So that would be my best advice there, is make sure you're following a study plan. So how can we make sure that our next attempt is your last attempt? We're already running a little short on time. So I'm going to start wrapping up. But I want you to ask yourself, what are you going to do different this time? Because if you're going to do it the exact same way, you're not going to have a different result. Ariel, let me know what slide you're referring to. I'm not sure what last slide you mean. So let me know which one you need. But you can't do it the same and expect a different result. And absolutely, you can. Archer Review has a companion product for nursing school. So yes, you can use it for your prerequisites. But what I want you to just realize is that accountability and consistency, those are two of the most important things that you can do, is show up for yourself. Okay. Yeah, I can put that back up in just a second, Ariel. And then stay motivated. Anyone feel like they lack motivation from time to time, where you're like, ooh, yep, that's me. I'm kind of struggling with motivation, because that can be hard, right? I'm going to put this up so someone can get a screenshot of this. Motivation can be challenging. I'm not always motivated to show up and to do my best, but I have to make it where I'm motivated. So, how do we do that? Well, what we do is we remember our why. So, for example, let's say today it's Monday, right? Everyone just loves Mondays. But you know what motivates me to show up is you guys. I want to see each and every one of you pass your exam. That's my motivator in this lecture. That's my motivator today. So your motivator might change, and that's okay if it changes, right? What leads you to success may look different from day to day, but allow yourself to really have that motivator that pushes you when things are challenging. Write your why down on a sticky note, put it in your study area. And again, reflect every week. But let that motivate you of, yes, I'm going to show up and I'm going to do my best today. And my best is good enough. And on the hard days, they're going to happen. Show up and do 20 questions, review your notes, do 20, flashcards, do something on those days that you're like, I don't really want to do anything. Try to do something. Now, Archer Review, we are here for you across the lifespan. Whether you are just starting your nursing journey and trying to pass your TEAS test, all the way through to getting your advanced practice degree and you're trying to test for your nurse practitioner. We want to support you. We want to encourage you. We want you to feel like you've got a whole team backing you, because you do here with us at Archer Review. So we are here for you every step of the way. You can scan those QR codes for whatever product you're needing. If you're looking for PN or RN, again, use I Love Archer, all caps. It'll save you 10%. But I would make sure to do the Sure Pass. If you're looking for RN or PN specifically, Sure Pass would be the one I would recommend. You can always reach out and message us if there's anything further that you need. But thank you guys so much for joining this webinar. I hope that we started to, change those setbacks into comebacks, our doubts into determination, and really our dreams into a reality. It is a journey of growth, but the journey of growth can end with success. So thank you for choosing to be here and for choosing Archer Review as a small part of your NCLEX journey. If you need anything at all, let us know. I hope this was helpful for you. If it wasn't, let us know that too. If you're like, Rachel, you were so off, this isn't a topic we want to hear on, let me know. But typically I see there's a couple people that really need to hear it. And so if that was you today, I hope this benefited you. You can always reach out to us if you need further help. You can email us, nclextutors@archerreview.com. We want to support you and help you. But good luck to each and every one of you. I hope you all have a great day. Bye, everybody.